Let's go! The future of the sport, are we peaking right now, or are 60 miles per hour wheels just the beginning? Man, look at y'all, look at this room. We riding on literal robotic circus plates. One single wheel spinning between our legs at highway speeds. It is beautiful, but it is absolutely psychotic. I look around the community right now and everybody is arguing. Half the guys are saying we have reached the absolute peak of technology. They think this is the golden age. The other half are looking at these machines like they are just the starting line. They want to go faster. They want to fly. But from a perspective of a man who lives on one wheel, I look at where we are standing today and I am terrified, but I am completely fascinated. We are cruising around at speeds that require a motorcycle helmet and full leather armor just to go to the grocery store. If you fall off a bicycle, you skin your knee. If you fall off a 60-mile-per-hour electric unicycle, you become a text message to your family. You become a legend on the internet for all the wrong reasons. The real problem is that these wheels are evolving way faster than our human bodies can adapt. We are putting massive high-voltage power plants right under our feet. People are out there pushing these machines to the absolute edge every single day. I see the guys who have been riding for years and their wheels look like they fought in a war. They are held together by heavy-duty tape and prayers. Think about the actual engineering inside these things. You are riding down the road and the only thing keeping your face from meeting the concrete is a tiny green computer board. That little board is making millions of calculations a second just to keep you upright. But what happens when that little board gets tired? What happens when a tiny drop of sweat or rain drops onto the motherboard? It does not give you a warning light. It does not beep nicely. It just turns off. It decides to quit its job while you are doing 45 miles per hour next to a garbage truck. I know guys who spend $5,000 on a brand new high-performance wheel. They unpack it and they treat it like a newborn baby. Then they go out to a parking lot and start jumping it off loading docks. They are smashing the metal rim against the concrete over and over. They do not realize that every single impact is bruising the metal inside. And do not get me started on the battery packs. We are standing and sitting directly on top of enough lithium to power a small village. When you charge that wheel to 100% and you immediately ride down a steep hill, the motor starts generating electricity backwards. The battery pack looks at that extra electricity and says, "We are full, we cannot take any more." So the system just shuts down to save itself from catching fire. The machine is completely safe, but you are currently flying through the air like a superhero who forgot how to land. That is the hidden reality of where the sport is right now. We are dealing with real mechanical fatigue that other influencers don't talk about in the shiny marketing videos. But on this channel, I do. The metal brackets that hold your pedals onto the frame are taking all your weight. Every time you lean forward hard to accelerate or lean back hard to stop, you are bending that aluminum just a tiny bit. Over thousands of miles, that metal gets tired. It gets microscopic crack. You will be cruising past the coffee shop looking cool and suddenly your left pedal just snaps clean off the frame. Now you are unicycling on one foot trying to bargain with God. This actually happened to me on my Begode race. So are we peaking right now? Honestly, I think we are at a very dangerous tipping point. If 60 miles per hour is just the beginning, that means the future is 80 miles per hour. It means 90 miles per hour on a single wheel. At that point, you are not a commuter anymore. You are a low-flying aircraft without wings. You are a loose missile on the bicycle path. The technology is amazing, but the real-world issues are catching up to us. Cables are rubbing against suspension springs inside the shell until the plastic coating wears away. The moment two bare power wires touch each other, the motor locks up instantly. The wheel stops moving, but your body keeps going at the exact same speed. You become an Olympic gymnast without a mattress. I love this sport with all my heart, but we need to understand the machines under our feet. We cannot just look at the top speed on the box. We have to look at the nuts and bolts. We have to look at how these things age after thousands of miles of abuse. Because right now, the wheels are getting faster, but the concrete is staying exactly the same hardness. If we are going to go into the future, we have to respect the machine. We have to realize that a 60-mile-per-hour wheel demands 60-mile-per-hour respect. Otherwise, the future of the sport is just going to be a lot of very fast machines riding around by themselves while all the riders are at home wearing full body casts. Stay safe out there and check your bolts after every ride before you wreck your life. See, the thing that slays me is how we all act like this is completely normal. You tell a regular person you ride a 60-mile-per-hour electric unicycle and they look at you like you just said you juggle active hand grenades for a hobby. And they are not wrong. We are playing chicken with physics every single day. Look at how people handle their wheels after a couple thousand miles. The new car smell wears off and suddenly guys are treating a high voltage machine like an old skateboard. They leave it out in the rain. They throw it in the back of a pickup truck. They let it sit in a freezing garage all winter long. Then they expect it to perform like a precision aerospace rocket when they turn it on. The wiring inside these things is pure comedy. You have these thick copper wires carrying massive amounts of electricity from the battery straight to the motor. In these new suspension wheels, those wires have to bend and flex every single time you hit a bump. It is like taking a paper clip and bending it back and forth over and over again. Eventually that metal gets tired. The plastic covering rubs against the sharp edges of the aluminum frame. Imagine you are cruising down a beautiful scenic pathway. You got your favorite music playing in your helmet. You feel like you are floating on a cloud. Meanwhile, inside your wheel, a bare copper wire is rubbing against the metal bracket. Just a millimeter of plastic is keeping you from disaster. The second that wire wears through, boom. 100 volts of pure energy shortcuts directly into the frame. The motor locks up tighter than a security guard at a high-end jewelry store. You do not even have time to say, "Oh snap," before you are sliding across the asphalt on your stomach like a penguin on ice. And the stuff people do to modify these things is absolutely wild to me. Guys will buy a perfectly engineered machine and immediately go into their basement with a screwdriver and a hot glue gun. They start changing the power pads. They add custom batteries they bought off a random website. They change the firmware settings to bypass the factory speed limits. They turn a safe commuter device into a rolling electronic pipe bomb. I see the discussions online where riders are complaining that their wheel cut out while they were going uphill. They say the manufacturer is terrible and the software has a glitch. But then you look at what actually happened. The guy weighs 250 pounds. He is carrying a 60-pound backpack. He is riding up a 30-degree incline into a 30-mile-per-hour headwind, and he is pushing the pedal tilt to the absolute maximum. He is asking a single electric motor to do the job of a pickup truck. The wheel did not glitch. The wheel fainted. The wheel looked at the hill, looked at the rider. Fuck this. That is what happens when you do not respect the limits of a single tire. When you are driving a car and a tire blows out, you have 3 other wheels to keep you from flipping over. When you are riding a motorcycle and the engine dies, you can still coast to a safe stop on 2 wheels. When you are on an electric unicycle and a single component fails, your geometry privileges are instantly revoked. You are no longer a vehicle. You are a human cannonball. If we are going to go faster than 60 miles per hour in the future, we have to talk about structural integrity. These wheels are made of plastics and light alloys to keep the weight down so we can carry them up the stairs. But those materials are not meant to handle highway impact forces. If you hit a pothole at 60 miles per hour, the force traveling up through that wheel is enough to shatter cast aluminum. Think about the bearings again. People think a flat spot on a bearing ball just makes a little noise. They think it is just a cosmetic issue. But at high speeds, that little flat spot creates a tiny skip. That skip turns into a vibration. That vibration travels straight up the axle and hits the motherboard. The tiny sensors on the motherboard that measure your balance start getting confused by the shaking. They cannot tell if you are leaning forward or if the wheel is just vibrating itself to pieces. So the computer panics and shuts down to protect its internal circuitry. We are basically living in the Wild West of personal transportation right now. There are no state inspections for electric unicycles. There is no mechanic down the street who can check your battery health before you go for a weekend ride. It is completely up to you to make sure your machine is not about to betray you. But most guys do not check anything until something goes wrong. They just plug it in, wait for the green light, and go rip down the road at highway speeds. If 60 miles per hour is just the beginning, we are going to need a total shift in how these things are built. We cannot just keep stuffing bigger batteries and stronger motors into the same basic plastic shells. We are going to need redundant systems. We are going to need backup motherboards and secondary sensors that can take over if the primary ones fail. Because right now we are working with zero safety net. I want to see the sport grow. I want to see people traveling across the country on single wheels. It is the most fun you can have with your pants on, but we have to be honest about what we are riding. We are riding a high wire act without a net. We are balancing on a lightning bolt. So if you are going to push the envelope and try to hit those crazy top speeds, do yourself a huge favor. Listen to your machine. If it makes a weird noise, do not ignore it. If it vibrates, stop riding, because that wheel is talking to you and it is trying to tell you that it is getting tired of carrying your heavy ass around. Stay smart, keep your eyes on the road, and remember that tarmac is a very unforgiving pillow. Thanks for watching.